La la Laker, la la Laker, la la Laker. We are back again for another episode. How are you guys doing? Let me speak to the first and the best fan base in the United States or in America. Laker fans. I am your host, Wally World. And today we're going to speak on another issue that we had that we must clean up. Now, in episode 1, I told you who to blame. I said, hey, you can blame Adam Silver because the 70-day turnaround was bad for the whole league and just not for us. When you're worried about the money and you're not worried about the integrity of the players, it happens that way. Whenever you build a team, you want to also build it off of talent and chemistry. We understand that with chemistry, you can't have injuries. You can't have guys out for COVID. You can't have guys just doing things to not be a part of practice and not understanding what guys like on the court. Doesn't mean you have to be the best of friends. Doesn't mean you have to hang out and do dinner dates or movie nights or family occasions after work. But as long as you understand what that person needs on the floor to win a basketball game for 4 quarters. But it's also something that comes along with that when you get all that together. And it's rotations. I don't know what happened with our rotations. Now, if you go back to episode 1, I told you about the lineup and the players that are on the team and some of them that were part of the process and some that were not. As we are now seeing that Pelinka wants to keep the core and some of those guys that I mentioned are not part of the core. Now, rotations. I never seen rotations be used the way those were used this past season. I've never seen it. A guy gets hot, and as soon as he's hot, he's off. He's sitting on the sideline. You blink and you say, hey, okay, he's getting on 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots. Okay, we got him hot. And the horn goes off, and now he's on the sideline with a towel. Frank Vogel is sitting there with his arms crossed as usual, standing up or sitting down, and we're trying to say, why are you taking him out to put a guy in that's just completely cold? Now that lead goes from 9 to now we're in a 9-point deficit. I've seen it with multiple players, and it wasn't even just LeBron or AD. None of the ones you know. There was some other times. Even though we're now shaming Kyle Kuzma, but Kyle Kuzma was hot a few games, and next thing you know, he's sitting down. KCP was hot a few games, and next thing you know, he's sitting down. I've never seen it on any other team. A guy's hot, he's in there. Why take him out? The point is to get him hot. Get a rhythm. This whole game is about rhythm. So yes, I'm not expecting the guy to come out there guns blazing when he finally gets his number called. Takes a while to run up and down the court and let the blood flow. Get a few passes, touch the ball, feel the grip. Understand what the flow of the offense is. Understand what the weak side is. Understand how they're trying to play you. Are they trying to double you? Are they trying to wedge you in? Are they playing you straight up? Are they bringing a late double? Are they going to bring a double when you turn your back to the basket? All those things you have to figure out. Spacing. Do I have enough room to where I can catch and shoot? Do I need to come a little closer in because they're bringing a double towards this way? All those things happen when you get on the floor. But when you get it and you shoot it and it's good and you do another one and it's good and you get to the part where you're doing a heat check and it's still good, coaches should never call your number again until you put your hand up and say, hey, I'm tired. Not Frank Vogel. I don't know if he was thinking that he was in college. I've only seen that when it's in college. And even in college, we don't see that, especially when it's like March Madness time. So I can't even imagine that you're supposed to do that during the playoffs. But Frank Vogel found a way to do it. We're getting rebounds. We're finally controlling the tempo. We're finally protecting the rim. Here's a change. We, as a team, should have told Montrezl Harrell, hey, you played center all of your life, and I understand that. But here, with our culture, our identity, we need you to be a forward. We need you to be another power punch behind Anthony Davis. Can you imagine, Laker fans, if somebody had the kahunas to just tell Montrezl Harrell, you're still going to get your minutes, you're still going to be effective, but you're going to play a four, and you got to play next to a center. You still get your mid-range jump shot. You still can play the pick and roll on offense. 1-4 pick and roll. It happens over and over and over on other teams. Nope. We did not have the kahunas to tell the truth. We already know, I've told you on episode 1, I told you, we already knew that we had a 6'6", 6'5" center. Let's make it more beneficial. Just think. Would you rather Montrezl Harrell guard a Nicholas Batum or a Ivica Zubac? Huh? Which one would you want? What would you prefer? Would you prefer Ayton, or would you prefer him going up against Crowder? Think about it. Nope, not the Lakers. Think about when it comes to Kyle Kuzma. Trying new moves. You do that in practice, but we need you in this corner and be ready for a jump shot. We put guys in bad positions. So again, I told you guys, you can say Frank Vogel, but he has assistant coaches as well that does things on the offensive end, which is not his specialty. So truly, while we're saying get Vogel out here because it's the face that we see on the TV screen, what we have to realize is even the ones that we're saying that we want to be coached now was running the offense and setting the plays, and Jason Kidd. Didn't think about that, did you? Only ones that's running two bigs. If we're going to do that, make sure that we get the best effective two bigs ever. The Spurs didn't just get no mediocre two bigs. They just dominated. They had a David Robinson. Why not get a Tim Duncan? They dominated. If you're going to go big or go home. I don't need guys being mediocre. If that's your identity. Now, what's our identity? Now we look at a coach. KCP's not hitting. He has to go sit. When you're not scoring, you're being non-effective. We have to now go with someone else. Who's to say that they'll be hot? But we still got to try it. We kept guys in too long who wasn't hitting on nothing, and we kept guys in not long enough when they were hot. The only person that should be sitting back and taking as much rest as they could is the stars. We don't have a Miami Heat LeBron James. We have a closer to over the hill or already over the hill rolling down it now. He should get all the rest that he could. There's no way that we did not build this team to where no one can take over any minutes while LeBron James' minutes was increasing. I don't think that's what we was wanting to use LeBron James for. Again, I always see the silver lining in things. We hate the ankle injury, but maybe it might have been that important. Because we also seen superstars that ran its course with minutes to have a torn Achilles. We've seen this before. A coach that does not understand minutes, rotations, don't understand any of it. And we've seen those last 3 or 4 good old years go down the hill with our superstar, with a D'Antoni. Some of these coaches make it harder than what they need to. Just keep it simple, stupid. But there's no way we have LeBron James averaging 37, 38 minutes a game. Sometimes as a coach, you have to be able to protect players from themselves. And speaking of protect players from themselves, who approved Anthony Davis to get out on the court for Game 6? Now, I know that we're selfish as fans and we're saying, oh, just go for it. We need you because we're in desperation. You know how that could have turned for the worse? Who approved him? They need to be let go immediately. We didn't see this years ago with another team when Kevin Durant, when they said, oh, you'll be fine. Only for him to be out at the beginning of the second quarter and to take 15 months off after that. Can we as Laker fans afford an injury like such from either of our superstars? We just shown you slight injuries and how we looked. Even though we know we are desperate, we still have to think of the future. Yes, we have LeBron and we know our time is running out, but we still have to think of the future. And by the way, this also lets other players from other teams that may want to come to us in the future look at that as well. Are they protecting me as a player? These are the things we're not even thinking about. Back to rotations. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot not only make one trade, and the trade that you was trying to make in the middle of the season was for a old 35-year-old point guard. Sometimes when you have superstars, you don't need main names. You need guys that know exactly what they're doing. And I remember through the season, everybody was saying, well, I wouldn't mind having a J.J. Redick. Why? Yes, he can shoot, but what can J.J. Redick do in the defensive end? What can J.J. Redick do when he can't even cut the mustard in New Orleans? What can J.J. Redick do as he barely got any burn, or if any, in Dallas? That's my point. You even forgot that J.J. Redick was in Dallas. Like they didn't just have a whole 7-game series. These are the things that we have to think about. Kyle Korver. Let's go get him. He's 40 years old. Why? There are so many guys. Look at the guard that the Bucks have. The Bucks have a guard right now. He's on fire. NBA Jam. No one knows his name. You probably saw the game and said, who is this guy? I've never seen him before. Well, that's the guy who got playing time after DiVincenzo went out, which they was sitting there waiting on after Wesley Matthews got gone. It's crazy, right? They're loaded. They don't have to have the big name. Just hit the shot. I think his name is like Bryn Forbes. Don't have any information around me. That's all you need, guys that knock down shots and make it honest. I don't care who they are. Can you shoot? Again, I told you we're spoiled. I need guys that can score. I need guys that can score not just threes. This is not 2K21, guys. Systems matter. You can put a bunch of big names out, but if it don't fit their system or their skill set, they're as pointless as the guy who still has his warm-up jersey on in the fourth quarter. But the rotations were bad, Frank Vogel. You got away with it last year because, again, as I said on the first episode, when you have more than one coach on the floor, you can get away with stuff like that. You have a veteran team. Speaking of rotations, you have a veteran team with veteran superstars. There is no way that Jared Dudley still has a job. What do you need him for? To coach the young guys? I thought that's what our superstars are there for. And on my record, I didn't think that Jared Dudley ever in his career has been better than our two superstars who've been in the league long enough and know how this goes. How can a Jared Dudley coach? Matter of fact, you know what? If you go back last year, they said Jared Dudley is teaching Kyle Kuzma along the way. How do you feel about Kyle Kuzma from last year to this year? I don't think that you really need him at this point. We need all the roster spots we can have. The Antetokounmpo saga, it's over. I always believed that we got his brother because we thought that we had a chance with Giannis, but as soon as Giannis inked that deal, we should have cut him. K-Cock has no reason on this team. It's time to build smart. A lot of you are saying Montrezl Harrell, come back. If Montrezl Harrell's smart, he declines the $9 million because he'll at least get $12 million or $13 million from somewhere else. Rather, if it's the Charlotte Hornets or the New York Knicks, he'll get more money if he's smart. And after he just seen how Vogel and his terrible rotations gave him no minutes, put the guy that you promised to be the starting center out for game 6 and don't play any minutes, I think you can just go ahead and just start anew. as what we all should do for this team. Rotations. And he just kept snake biting us. I mean, I seen it early and I was like, okay, maybe he'll get it together. You have to give him the benefit of the doubt. He made some good rotational pieces. But what we also can remember is Rondo was right there beside Vogel, showing him what to do as well. It's been documented. So truly, do our coach really know what it is when it comes to rotations? Or is he just another coach that we see over and over in the league, that as long as the stars are on the floor, he can sit back with bedroom slippers on? But when he don't have the stars, he's just waiting on the lottery. I hope that's not what we have. Now here's the good news. For some of you that are Vogel haters, this is the last year of his contract coming up. Now you have to make those real decisions that you've been asking for this offseason, next offseason. Hopefully he will understand his desperation and do better. Jason Kidd declined Portland. A lot of you are saying, oh man, Portland. He declined Portland, so that means he's not going to coach. That doesn't mean that, guys. That means that why would I want to go to Portland when I see that Dame's disgruntled and may not want to be here in the next few years to ultimately get me fired because we can't win? Be smart, Laker fans. Be smart. Again, for the ones that's on the big networks that say that we're done, we're not done. Pelinka understands the culture and the heartbeat. But we have to be realistic on some of the things that we have. And even with the rotations being as trash as they were, some of the people on our roster was not even cut for even a better rotation. But I like our chances for next season. Again, like I said on the first episode, I like it. We're now not the hunted. We could be hunters again. It's kind of like when LeBron was here and he was the wash king. Did you see how the way his game increased, the fire in his eyes? When we heard that it was pointless to get AD from New Orleans, do you see the fire in their eyes, the proof that he wanted? That's what we need again. I think we'll be A-okay. Don't panic, Laker fans. But in order for us to know what's the difference between last year's team and this upcoming year's team, is that we have to remember these things right now, these issues right now. So as soon as we see them in the first 10 to 15 games, we already know if it's changed or not. And now you can make a true decision on Frank Vogel for the future. We're good. It's a lot of things that came with this season. Even the changing of the guard, as you can see throughout the playoffs, they're trying to promote the younger stars. But our experience and our hunger will trump any young person that's trying to make a name for themselves in this league right now, even though they're as good as they are. And on that note, La La Laker out. Give me my theme music. Next episode, we're going to talk about potential stars, contracts, and why some newcomer may be able to make this roster, or they don't have a chance in hell. We're going to really get to the nitty-gritty. Be looking forward to the next episode of La La Laker. I am Wally World, and I love LA.